This is how I warm up for a shoulder workout. A good warm up needs to do two things. One, it needs to literally warm up the muscles and joints and get blood flow into the areas we want to train. And two, I need to set myself up for good movement. Here's how I do that. I start with these trunk and arm twists. And the direction here is key. I'm not just flopping around doing whatever feels good. I want to move my arm out and externally rotate as I come into this 45-degree angle. Most everybody in the world has tight pecs, so we want to open up that area and get some movement and blood flow in there. I'll do this for 30 seconds to a minute or until I start to feel warm. Once I'm done with the trunk and arm swings, I'm going to get into some active range of motion. I'll start off with shoulder flexion and extension. From the side angle, I'm reaching forward. Notice that my scapula is going the same direction as the entire arm, in that as my arm goes forward and up, the scapula does the same. I'm going to come up as far as I can. Notice how slow I'm going. I want to really take my time, force my shoulder to stabilize itself in all of these positions and get comfortable, and notice if there's any spots of restriction along the way. As I go into extension, I'm internally rotating my arm, turning it inward. This is what I want it to look like. This is what we don't want with the scapula tipping and collapsing forward. I'll do 2 or 3 reps on each side in this plane, or until I start to feel fatigue. Notice that as I move back, my shoulder blade retracts, moves towards the middle, and depresses, moves downward. Next, I'm going to do active range of motion into abduction. Reaching out to the side, same thing. Externally rotating my humerus, which means that the inside of my bicep points forward, and my scapula is reaching the same direction of my arm. That means that as my arm is going out to the side, my scapula is moving away from the middle of my back, and it's rotating upward as I get into the overhead positions. As I come into internal rotation, my scapula should be downwardly rotating, moving in towards the middle as well as turning. I'll do 2 or 3 of these on each side, or until I start to feel warm and a little fatigue in the muscles. Now that I've done my basic active range of motion warm up, I'm going to get the muscles of the rotator cuff warmed up that help stabilize the shoulder joint. Start with my arms out to the side, and I make tiny circles. I count to 50 or 100 going in each direction. As I'm doing tiny circles, just like in the active range of motion, my shoulder blades are reaching the same direction as the arms. Without letting my arms come down, I'm going to internally rotate one arm as I externally rotate the other, and continue this for about 10 reps total. Be careful not to let your shoulders shrug upward or creep forward as you're doing this rotation. We just want to spin the humerus in its joint. Once you're really starting to feel a burn and you can't wait for this to be over, we've got one last thing to do, which is wall slides. I'm going to slide my arms up and down an imaginary wall that my back is on. I don't want my arms to come forward, and I want to focus on letting my shoulder blades rotate upwards as I reach up and rotate back downward as I come down. I'll do 5 to 10 reps of this, or until I really start to feel tired. As I'm doing this, and really all of this shoulder warm-up, I want to make sure that I keep my thoracic spine locked into position. So I'm keeping my abs engaged, keeping the bottom of my ribs down, and avoiding this flaring movement, which is really lower back extension. We want to focus on moving the arms, not the lower back. All right, my shoulders are feeling warm, loose, and almost a little bit tired. That's where you want to be when you start a workout. You want to get right to the point of fatigue and really get blood flow into the muscles and joints you're warming up, as well as getting your accessory muscles that help stabilize the joint to do their part. Give it a try, leave a note in the comments. Let me know if you like this. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.